make this video on something called the 55 genders, the 55 flavors of genders. And I just want to make this a critique. You see, the thing about gender identity and all these things is I'm not against LGBT community. My issue is not so much with the LGBT community. My issue is more with the school system and what the Democrats are doing to our children. You see, I'm not going to deny that people are bisexual, that people are gay, that people are lesbian. Naturally, people are born that way, and I frankly don't think there's anything wrong with it, and I believe truly as a Canadian in the Charter of Freedoms and Rights and the freedom to express yourself. My issue with the leftists is when you start making up genders, and I'm not against transgenderism. I'm saying my issue is how many of these genders that they claim to exist are actually exist. That's my critique, my question. So, scientifically, scientists and biologists basically observed that there was two genders. There's female and male. And then there's people who are biologically born asexual, which I believe are the true gender non-binaries because they were born without reproductive organs. And then there's hermaphrodites. My issue and my critique with the 55 flavors of gender is this. If there are so-called 55 flavors of gender, how come there are no reproductive organs to match those 55 flavors of gender? Because if you paid attention in biology class, any gender comes with reproductive organs. I guess you can lie to me as a kid and say, well, you are a man. But the thing is, I can't deny my own biology. At the end of the day, I can carry children. I'm a woman. I can carry children, which makes me a woman. Irregardless of how I feel, how I dress, I will always be a woman because biologically I can carry children. My issue isn't so much about transgenderism or LGBT people. My issue is when you are telling kids that may not be transgendered, that may not be bisexual or homosexual or lesbian. When you're telling these kids these things, my issue is how does it harm and confuse a kid who may not be LGBT? Because it's not so much that LGBT is harmful. I don't believe being bisexual is harmful. My issue is telling people who may not be gay may harm them. Telling kids who are not transgendered that they're transgendered harms them. And this is my issue with the Democrats. If you don't believe me, go look it up. There's a lot of evidence of the Democrats looking for kids who are at the age of 9 and telling them that they have gender identity disorder. And then putting them on puberty blockers. I have an issue with this. Because the government wants to control everything about your life. The government from the age of 5 years old all the way to college is brainwashing your children to think a certain way and to be ideologically possessed. And this can be dangerous. You see, I'm not against transgender people and I'm not against gay people. If you are gay, fine. But what does it do to a child who may not be gay, telling them that they are gay? All to basically push your agenda. You see, I have anxiety like everybody else, and I believe that the psychology profession is bullshit because anxiety and depression are normal human emotions. We all get depressed, we all get anxious. In fact, anxiety can save your life. If you're in a situation where you know where your body is going into fight or flight, that's your body telling you to get out, and that can save your life. So you're telling people that we should put them on medication for things that are normal. You see, if you look at psychological literature, there's a lot of literature and a lot of evidence that suggests if you expose people to things that they fear, they're likely to get over those things. But the psychology profession doesn't think so because they make so much money off of medicating people that don't need to be medicated. You see, telling people to not be a pussy and to grow a pair and to face their fears would not make any money. It wouldn't make any money. So what do they say? Here's this medication. Here's this pill. You see, we all have anxieties. We all have fears. But you have to not be a pussy and face those fears. You think I don't have fears and anxiety? We all have them. But psychological literature always says if you expose people to those fears, they're more likely to get over them. But that doesn't make people money.